So before we get into this video, if you guys want to check out my feature film Pace D, you can. It's on Amazon right now. You can also check out the Blu-ray copy. You can also check out our link tree down below for all of our short films. You can buy them on Gumroad, pay what you want. It helps us make more projects. Also, we'll talk about it later. I saw this movie last night, and I was going to make a video, had a lot of stuff go on, so I didn't get a chance to do it. I'm doing it now. I'm also about to go see the new Final Destination film. Now, this film is directed by Trey Edward Shults, which if you're not familiar with who he is, he also did It Comes at Night. That's the only other film that I've seen from him. He's also got another two films that are really popular, but we won't get into that, even though maybe we should. This film has one of the craziest letterbox curves. And here's the thing about films, and I have been saying this, I really, truly don't think it's that hard to get a film at a 90% on Rotten Tomatoes. I truly don't. I really, really don't. When I see a film that gets like a 50% from Rotten Tomatoes, you know, something like a 3 on Letterboxd, or maybe, you know, it gets a crazy maybe 9 at a IMDb for a limited time, or even the opposite. Maybe it gets like a 90% from Rotten Tomatoes and a 2 from Letterboxd, or, you know, vice versa. Maybe it gets a 40% from Rotten Tomatoes and a 4% from Letterboxd, or a 4 out of a 5 from on Letterboxd. I just love seeing stuff like that, because that means that the film is probably, I'm not even really looking for a film that's good anymore. I've seen so many films that I just think that I'm just looking for something interesting, truly. And I do think the general audience gets that way. I can't speak for every member of the general audience, of course, but I do think that the general audience has this expectation of what a film should be, that whenever they do see something different, it's either going to piss them off entirely, or it's going to basically give them a new level of appreciation with films. Because I think we all have that one film that kind of changed us in terms of, oh, okay, well, this is the type of films that I can go out and watch now, or oh, I didn't know I like this type of film. And that's why I think experimentation is so good in filmmaking, because it's very important, because you don't know what's going to work until you actually do it. Now, with that said, Hurry Up Tomorrow stars The Weeknd, and it's basically a psychological look into his mind. And it's very artsy, it's very artistic, it's very experimental, it's very dreamy. If I had to compare this film to any other filmmaker's films, which I'm just doing this as a comparison because, you know, Trey Edward Shults, there's only one thing that I've noticed that he's sort of retained from his other films, and that's the changing aspect ratio, at least for It Comes at Night. I haven't seen his other two films that he's made. But it kind of felt like a David Lynch film, in a sense, just with how surreal it was, and also the visuals, something akin to Gaspar Noé. There's even a warning at the very beginning of the film that says that there's a lot of flashing lights, and it might trigger some people. The film also stars The Weeknd, which is Abel, I don't know how to pronounce his last name, Barry Keoghan, and Jenna Ortega. It's got a pretty good cast, and everybody did well. I actually think The Weeknd, I mean, he is basically playing The Weeknd, so, I mean, when it comes to acting, I'm not exactly sure, but if you guys are looking for a comparison film to this, like a pretty good film to compare it to, I would probably say The Man Who Fell to Earth, the David Bowie film, because there are films where, you know, a musical artist will end up, you know, playing themselves in a film, basically, or playing another person, and I actually like films like that. Like, of course, I love a good biopic, but it's also good to get a good experimental film like this. Right now, I'm looking at the Google reviews, which, I mean, if you look at Rotten Tomatoes, it's 81, 5.9 IMDb, 2.7 Letterboxd, 92% from Google, and this, you know, is a 5-star review. This movie is a piece of art. You have to interpret a few things which might not be enjoyable for some. It might seem confusing, which can make it seem annoying for viewers, but if you really pay attention, the scenes actually create the exact feeling that you're supposed to. Yeah, I actually do see that. I think that that's pretty well put. Did I love this film? I definitely more appreciated it more than I loved it. I do think if I was to watch this film again, I might enjoy it a lot more, because the thing is, I feel like there's so many different things that this film is trying to say for a first-time viewing that maybe watching it the second time is going... It's kind of like Mulholland Drive for me. The first time I watched Mulholland Drive, I actually wasn't a big fan of it. I really just didn't understand what all the hype was about. And then when I watched it again, I was like, yeah, this is a masterpiece. This is one of the best films I've ever seen. Not comparing Hurry Up Tomorrow that it's going to be that, but just saying you might get a better appreciation. Also, one of the things that I was kind of upset about, and I don't want this to be a spoiler because it's not, but like there's a few things in the trailer that did not make it into the film. Like one specifically, one part that I was actually looking forward to that I don't know, maybe they removed it because it was a little bit goofy, but at the same time, I feel like it is a little strange to put it in your trailer when you know, aren't going to actually put it in your film. And this is why you got to be careful with Rotten Tomatoes, because technically speaking, Hurry Up Tomorrow would have a 0% because it's gotten nothing but rotten reviews. And I'm actually surprised this film's not doing better because it's got The Weeknd in it, and the cinematography is beautiful across the board. I liked it. Look, I mean, I don't know what people expected with this film. If you watch the trailer, you sort of know what you're getting yourself into for the most part, besides the stuff that they removed. But I liked it. I personally did. I did like it. It's not my favorite film of the year by any means. Is it one of those films that everybody should watch? I think it would be a pretty good date movie. I think if you were to just go with friends, I do think that, you know, it would be a fun movie to watch with people. I do think it's definitely more of a theater experience than anything. I feel like if you're just watching it by yourself, I mean, it depends on what mood you're in for sure. But I don't really know what people are going to take out of this film. I mean, I don't know. But anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, leave a thumbs up and maybe subscribe. Take it easy. See you next time.